Let's see if this is working yet. Come on. Just bear with me for a minute. Everything is a little bit wonky. I got stuff everywhere. So much for having a backdrop. Tried to put up a curtain for a nice neat backdrop and the camera angle just picks up absolutely everything. Yes, I'm not at the bar with all the fishing gear today. I am in my studio. You can see, I guess over here, you can see some of the art supplies. You can see some of the camera clutter and stuff on my desk. A few of my statues from my collection. Yeah, pretty hardcore geek spot, but this was the easiest place for me to do the live stream for January, the first live stream of 2021. For today, just because I've spent the whole day at the computer working on trying to learn some of the live stream software that's out there, so I can make these live streams a little bit better with more graphics, more integration. And yeah, I failed miserably. I was working on it so hard this morning, but it's not ready. I need more time to learn how to use that stuff. Okay. I can see Dave Pendlebury and Kappa are in the chat. Welcome, guys. Just so I'm making everything clear, you guys can hear me, right? We're up and rocking. I don't have any technical issues today other than this massive wide scene of my geek area. All good. Awesome. How's it going for you over there, Kappa? Everything been good? Have you been out fishing at all? Dave, I don't need to ask you that question because I know you have been fishing and I know you've already put a fish on the bank for 2021. I also know something else about the first fish you hooked of 2021, but we won't get into that. Bad year, Kappa. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully this one will go a little bit better for you. Dave, you're living the quarantine dream. Yeah, aren't we all? Jay-Z, much respect from Philly. Awesome. Thanks for joining in. Always glad to see people from new locations. I don't know if we've ever had anybody pop into the chat from Philly before. Ken Taylor, binge watch the Carpopotamus series over the holidays. Great content. Thanks. You know what? I really appreciate you watching that. To be honest with you, we had such an amazing time putting that series together. And it was incredibly difficult because we actually filmed Carpopotamus while we were doing the 12 months of carp. So it actually became really tricky because the plan was to actually have the first fish of each month count towards the 12 months of carp. It just happened to work out that way. So after we've already completed our month for the 12 months of carp, we were able to jump into Carpopotamus and get those fish separate. How we were able to do both at the same time, I don't know. And I know a lot of people complained that the whole Carpopotamus title was a little bit misleading, given that in the end, that fish wasn't this massive fish. But for where we were, it was a big fish. It was the first, and to this point, the only time I've actually been able to target an actual fish. And man, it was just such an exhilarating experience to finally get that after seeing how that fish behaved around certain baits and certain rigs, and to have hooked it and lost it the following year for Goldie, to have hooked it and lost it. It's just an incredible fish. Really incredible fish that was. Lee Hoff, good morning. Always good to see you. Really appreciate you guys jumping in the chat. Dave Newman, good morning. I guess technically it's afternoon now. We're 4 minutes in, but Dave Newman, it was good to see you last weekend. Out just trying to get a bite, casting lures around, running into Dave in his usual haunt. I'm really hoping that there's no skim of ice on there for tomorrow. because as I mentioned, Dave, last week, that I really, really want to go hit that spot for carp tomorrow after seeing the bubblers and the fizzers and just signs that carp were moving around, even though I couldn't get a pike to save my life. But, you know, I've caught a lot of carp in that place, as you've noticed. You've been into them yourself. We've even had a capture the same fish together. But yeah, I want to go on the other side from where we were standing. So hopefully that will be clear tomorrow and I can give it a try. I know you're getting ready for ice fishing, so I know we want that spot to freeze, but I just want it to be open tomorrow so I can put a line in for the day. So I hope everybody's doing as well as can be, given the global situation that we're still in and still going on, and things just keep changing. But you know, we can just kind of go through day by day with how it's all going and how we can all cope with it. Obviously for me, fishing is the way I cope with pretty much everything, and I'm glad we all have that in common, that we can share our chats and our conversations about fishing and fishing related activities. So I will say again, for those of you who weren't quite in at the start, Happy New Year and welcome to the January live stream. Really happy to be doing this again. I don't know, something about these live streams and having the chat going, I really get a rush out of being able to interact with everybody as we go along. And it seems like the last few months they've been going longer and longer and longer because people just want to keep watching and keep interacting. And I love it. It's awesome. Sorry if I'm looking down. The camera mount I have up today is a little bit higher than usual. Like I said, I was working on this new setup again, and I say it every time, but it's because I'm doing new little things with technology. Some things I learn really fast, other things I need to take my time with, and I've been working on OBS Studio pretty much all of last night and this morning, trying to get it set up so that I can start doing more elaborate live streams. And when I say more elaborate, I mean more in the way that I want to present them, the way I would like to see them. So I'm working on it. I just need more time to learn the software because it has so much in it. It's unreal. 1 inch of ice at the Willows. Well, luckily I'm not fishing down in that corner, but man, 1 inch already, and we only had the one good day of cold weather really yesterday. I went down to I think -9. So that's a pretty fast form of ice there. Still not thick enough for me to drag my fat butt out on. Oh, sounds like there's some life upstairs. So I have a few things on my list here, regards of, you know, what I'm going to chat about today. Water is ready to turn. Follow me out. Yeah, I'll follow you out. I'll follow you out like 2 sessions after you start. That way I know everything's good and the fish are actually biting, because let's face it, you're going to find the fish before anybody else there. So yeah, as I mentioned, I'm working on trying to get the live streams going a little bit more exciting, a little bit, having a little bit more detail to them. I want to be able to bring up photos onto the screen as we talk about different sessions or things that have happened. I want to be able to show you guys a little bit more, rather than just constantly talking about it and having no imagery. So I am working on that, and over the next few months that should get better as I learn more about the programs. Another thing I want to let you know, February and March for sure. Just check the schedule. February, March, and I think potentially April. My work schedule interferes with the live stream days. So I will still be doing the live stream on the second Saturday of each month. I'm not changing the schedule. All I'm changing is the time. The next few months, I will be hoping to have the live streams going, by 1 p.m. instead of noon. Just because I will be working until noon. It takes me half an hour to get home. I'm hoping to have everything kind of set up and ready to go, so that when I get home, I can just have a quick shower, hop on the computer, load everything up, and away we go. So yeah, just for the next few months, The live stream will be 1 hour later than normal, but we will still try to cover all the same, you know, chatter and banter and updates that we can't that we normally do, just at a slightly different time. Just because I can't get my boss to, you know, say, oh, hey, yeah, you don't have to work until noon on those Saturdays. Your live stream's more important. He doesn't think that way. So I have to put in the full Saturday shift. In continuing with our conversation about the schedule, some really good videos coming up soon. So if you guys, let me know in the comments here, did all of you guys watch the center pin carp fishing video we put up a few weeks ago? I really hope all of you did, because that one was a lot of fun to work on, a lot of fun to film. Obviously, Dave Pendlebury, Captain Giggles there, kept that session just absolutely hilarious. Did you guys all see that one? Oops. Fix my screen here. Lee saw that one? Good, good. Okay, and I think I touched on it in the last live stream. There is a part 2 to that. Dave Newman, yes, I'm addicted to the angler files. Dave, I think you're just addicted to fishing in general and anything related to fishing. Ken Taylor, you saw it, yes. Kappa, nope, your first video since last summer. Well, when you get your chance, you know, hopefully things will be going better for you and you'll be able to take some time to watch that video. It's a lot of fun. There is a part 2. I do believe I touched on that in December's live stream. Part 2 is almost complete. I've been working on that pretty steady for the last couple weeks. It is a long one. Just a heads up, part 2 for the center pin carp fishing video is going to be 1 hour and 40 something minutes. Simply because I don't want to cut down on the fights of the fish. I wanted to leave the whole battle in there, because some of them are just, it's silly how the fish move back and forth. Sometimes some of it's just silly how Dave and I respond with what's going on. But yeah, it's a long one, but it's a fun one. There's a lot going on in that video. There's over, I think we land 21 fish in that video. We landed 24, I think, for the whole day, because I think we had, as we were packing up, we shut the cameras off as we were packing up. I think we had 3 more fish come out just in the time it took us to put our gear away. So yeah, a day of 24 fish total, I think, landed. Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, was it 24, 25? But I'm pretty sure we have 21 of those fish on camera. You were there and you're still pumped to see it. I showed you the ending clip about half an hour ago, and I know you liked that, so that was fun. But yeah, guys, I'm really looking forward to putting that one out. That will be released on the 23rd of January. So just remember that will be the next video coming up. Nothing next week, but on the 23rd, we will have part 2 of the center pin carp fishing, and it's just a smash fest, an absolute smash fest. We basically took everything that we were doing on the first center pin session. This video will take place a few days later, where we slightly changed the baiting strategy. Where in the first session, we just loaded the bait in, had horrible weather with that super strong wind. And yeah, we caught, thankfully, but it wasn't the session we were expecting. Normally that spot's just really good for numbers, and we didn't quite get into the numbers we were hoping for, although we still did catch. Yeah, Hurricane Delta, it was like 60-kilometer-an-hour winds. Not only did we film that session, we actually did the live stream, the October live stream, while we were there. Where is Goldie, if it isn't a personal question? Goldie doesn't live here with us anymore. He hasn't popped into the videos, unfortunately. He's got a very busy work schedule. I was actually chatting with him this morning about the software for the live streams. So he still does know what's going on, but you know, the guy's just busting his ass, working a lot. It doesn't get him out, unfortunately. So I'm hoping to get him on the bank at some point this season. I've talked to him a number of times about it, but you know, when a guy's got his work schedule, and when he can free up the time, I'm sure he'll let me know. But for now, unfortunately, he's so busy he can't get out on the bank. He's always got the open invitation. He knows that. All he has to do is check in with me to find out when I'm going next, and he's always welcome to join. So there's your update on that one. But yeah, the upcoming video is going to be really, really good. King Ivan, thanks for tuning in. What reel would you recommend for a 12-foot, 3-pound test curve rod? Okay, very simple question. There's a lot of really great reels out there made by a lot of really great companies. I will be honest with you, I particularly prefer a heavy reel. Some people think they're a little bit more clunky. It's just my personal preference. I use Witchwood reels. So right here, this is the size up. I would not put this on a 3-pound test curve rod. I use this on my 3.5s. So I have the 12-foot 3.5 test curve Daiwa G50 Black Widows, and I couple them with the Witchwood Riot 75S reel, which is this model right here, and you can see it's huge. On my 12-foot 3-pound test curve Daiwa Phantom, the one that I used for the center pin, that one is normally coupled with the 65, so the Witchwood Riot 65S reel, which is exactly the same as this, just a size smaller. You can't go wrong with that for 2 reasons. One, it's a very durable, very good, strong reel. I've been using that one for 5 or 6 years now, and I've not had a single issue with it. On top of that, the price point, absolutely killer price point. If you're on a budget, the Witchwood reel is definitely the way to go. Another one that I could recommend is the Daiwa Black Widow big pit reel as well. I know Goldie used that for a while, or he maybe used the what was it, the LQDA one. Clint uses the Black Widow reel. These guys seem to like them. I know Goldie also has the Sonic Vader X 8000 big pit. That one is even heavier than the Witchwood reel. So if you like heavy reels, the Sonic Vader X is really good. Actually, the drag is really nice, and it played fish really well. Really good cranking power, just a very heavy reel. So those low end, I don't want to say low end because they perform at a much higher rate, but those lower price point reels from companies like Daiwa, Sonic, and Witchwood, really, really good reels, a little bit heavier or clunky, as some might put it. If you're looking for the lighter reels, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money. I have used the Daiwa Bezias, the Bezia tournament ones. Demir had a set of those, and I was able to actually play a fish in on his setup with one of those reels. I personally didn't like it. You know, it had really good cranking power. It did the job, could cast a mile. I didn't like how light it was. It honestly felt so light that I thought I was going to break it with my big clunky hands. So if you're looking for a lighter reel, you're probably going to want to look at more high-end stuff, but you need to kind of couple that with what you like and what you're comfortable with. I like heavier, bigger reels. Some people like them to be lighter and more compact. Hopefully that answers your question, gives you a few ideas there, King Ivan. Looking at my list here, you were looking at the Witchwood 65. So there's 2 different models of that. I'll just add that in. There's the Witchwood Riot 65, which is more of a silver reel. Then there's the 65S, which is the black ones like this. Okay, the black ones, the 65S and the 75S, they have a few slightly different features. So make sure when you actually look at the reels, read up on the differences. They both have the big cranking power. I think they both have dual spools, but There are a few features on the S that are a little bit different, so just double check those, make sure they suit your needs. But yeah, I don't think you'll go wrong with the Witchwoods. Actually, something I was going to touch on a little bit later. My next purchase of reels is going to be the Witchwood Extricators 5000 FD reels. I'm going to be getting a pair of them. That Kappa's got the 65s. I'm going to be getting a pair of the Witchwood Extricator reels because, one, I love the Witchwood reels. Two, I want something with a silver spool because it's sexy. And I want those two reels because I'm going to couple them with my new toys. Actually, let me open this up. I'm just gonna talk about this a little bit later, but bring them up now. Kappa, you've been abusing them for 5 years now. Yeah, they take a punishment. Right now, my 65 that I use on the 3-pound test curve rod, it's got a little bit of noise coming from the spool, but I'll be honest with you, I haven't greased that thing in 2 years. So I think once I grease it a little bit, it'll be just fine. The 75s I've been beating the crap out of, and they are absolutely indestructible so far. Really just bashed them. This one is my third one to go with my third 12.5 test curve, or 12 foot 3.5 rod, just so I can have a full setup for those. You've got the Riot 55 on your 10 foot, and it's been great so far. Yeah, the 55s and the 45s I haven't tried myself yet. I keep looking at them, but then that's how I found out about the Extricator reels, and I just thought those looked a little bit sleeker, because I want to put the Extricator reels on this. I've got a pair of these rods that just arrived the other day. These are, in fact, the Witchwood Extricator 10-foot MLT cork handle rods. These are 3-pound test curve. I can't tell you how excited I am to use these, especially once I get the new reels on them. It's got a little line clip here, something that my other rods don't have. So I'm looking forward to using that just to learn more about adjusting my bobbins, utilizing that line clip for better bite indication. But I needed kind of an in-between rod. My 12-foot 3.5s are amazing. I really love my 12-foot 3-pound. I just love the lighter action of it. My 9-foot Monster Carp tackle rod that's just an incredible all-around rod. I can use that for absolutely everything. It's landed fish up to 30 pounds or over 30 pounds for us. Goldie landed his 36.15 with the 9-footer. But I can take that 9-footer into places I can't take any other rod because it's so compact. However, I've got a lot of small water areas that are a little bit more open, where I'd like a little bit more bend to the rod, a little bit more casting length, let's say, and I really wanted the cork handle, so I got a pair of the Extricators here. These are going to be for places like the reservoir that I go to, that little reservoir where I have the road right behind my back and the guardrail. This will be perfect for that location. Some of the smaller water areas, like where Dave and I filmed the center pin videos. There's some new swims that I've discovered along there that I'm really looking forward to getting into. These will be the rods that I'll be taking in there. So yeah, I'm really excited about having that pair of those rods, and they feel nice. You know, being somebody that's kind of grown up using my trout rods with the cork handles, to be able to get the cork handles in a carp rod, I am so excited about that. Let's see, let's just get caught up on the chat here. Almost bought one of those, but I went for the Daiwa Crosscast 10-foot instead. How is that? I'd love to know. I just went with Witchwood because I know Witchwood well. I love my Daiwas, but I wanted to try and pair something up with the reels that I intended on getting, and those rods were based on my desire to get those particular reels that I talked about. Kappa, you just got a pair of Sonic Extractor Recon 8-foot rods. Are those extractors, are those the ones that are kind of like the Nash ones where you can actually slide the blank down into the handle? Those would be perfect for getting into really tight spots, kind of like I use my 9-footers for. Oh, Clint's in, Pack Bait Ballers of Ontario. Hey, how's it going? Shouldn't you be at work? Oh wait, no, you got Fridays and Saturdays off. Captain needs to readjust for the shorter length and higher test curve. So that 8-footer is a 3.5 test curve. Man, you could spod with that. That's durable. And yeah, with the monster rods, actually, in the part 2 of the center pin video, I'm actually using my Monster Carp Tackle 9-footer to spod. That was the only reason it was there, because I was using the 12-foot Phantom for use with the center pin. So I was fishing with the 12-footer and using my 9-foot monster rod as a spod rod. It worked the dream with that midi spom. Does wonders. I think, if I remember right, when we were fishing at the secret spot a few years back, Demir wanted to get a feel for that monster carp rod, so he put the midi spom on it, and he was spotting out to just over 90 yards with that 9-foot rod, and it handled it just fine. And we still crushed fish with that rod. So, I can't say enough good things about that rod. I just wanted something in the middle, so I've got a pair of new ones. Fat Boys merch is in, so we're going to take pictures today at the park, and Jeff might do the polar bear dip at the beach. That's nuts. Absolutely insane. Why would you do that? After going through the ice when I was younger, I've decided very quickly I am never going to do the polar bear dip on purpose. That's just nuts. But Clint, please, you and Dave, let me know after what the condition of the open water situation is there, because I want to fish there tomorrow. Not the side you guys go on. I want to go to the other side, and I'm hoping I'll be fishing the deep part just left of that really shallow rock flat. I saw a lot of signs that carp were moving in there, and I want to get on them. He'll have a heart attack. Yeah, no doubt. I'll have a heart attack just hearing him go in there with his screeches. King Ivan, you hate how long the winters are here in Saskatchewan. You want to get back out carping. Well, there is a way around that. That's simply to leave Saskatchewan. Now, if it's your home and you love it, obviously stay there. Maybe get out on the ice for some walleye or something like that. I know you've got a lot of other fishing opportunities there that we simply don't have here, where, in our situation, it might freeze, it might not. We're in southern Ontario in the Niagara area. Some of the areas freeze really well. Others we have to drive for. So luckily, I pretty much always have an open water opportunity around here somewhere. The carp just shut down a lot, so I got to find them where they're moving. 1 inch, maybe 2. Dave was there yesterday, but it's open where I want to go. Perfect. I'll have a nice session there tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get into some fish. That brings me to the next point. Let's see here. Oh, you were out for some walleye in early December. Now it's -20 to -30 every day. No chance you'll catch me on the ice. A heater and a ice hut makes all the difference in the world. I've ice fished into -40s and stayed plenty warm if I dressed right to get out there and get back. It's just a matter of being comfortable while you're out there. But everybody's different. Some people can do the ice fishing thing. Others just don't want any part of it. But glad you did get into some walleye. So yeah, the next thing, the video coming up in February. So the nice thing with February and March, we're actually going to have 2 videos plus the live stream. So you're going to get 3 videos as far as content comes from us in the next 2 months. 30-minute mark. Oh, thanks for the update, Dave. So February 6th, I've bumped a few of the videos that I already have ready to go for the sake of the newest one that Dave and I filmed on New Year's Day. Oh, I look so silly waving my pen around. Take care, Clint. Give me some more updates later. Take some pictures. Let me know what the conditions are over there. February 6th, Dave and I were out on New Year's Day for our first session of 2021. We were out trying for carp, hoping things would go well. It was an interesting day to say the least. There was a lot of indication, particularly on Dave's rod. There was a lot happening. But David and I have both actually opened our 2021 season with a carp. I'm happy to say we both managed to catch. So we are already, well, I'm batting 100, Dave's batting 50%, but 50% is better than a lot of people who haven't had a fish yet this season. If you want to know why I'm saying that, make sure you watch the video on February 6th when that comes out as we kick off our 2021 season, and you'll see how that day went, because it was a lot of fun. It was a good day, and it was really nice to get into some fish. We also cast the deeper sonar around, the Deeper Pro Plus that I got for my birthday, that I mentioned back in December. That was interesting. To be able to see the depths that were different than what I thought they were, much shallower than I thought they were, a much slower taper to the shallow flat than I thought was there. And after casting that around, once we found that there was actually a change in the temperature, the surface temperature, once we made that adjustment, that's when we caught. So a really neat tool. We never marked any fish while we were doing it, but just to understand the bottom contours and that we were in fact fishing near some kind of structure, and then to find the temperature change, as soon as we got that information and made some adjustments, it turned things around, and we actually were able to start off our season. So you're going to see a little bit more of the deeper sonar getting used. I was actually going to go film a segment this morning. So if you guys remember the marsh, when I fished the marsh in the spring with Kevin, I was going to go there this morning. I was going to take the deeper sonar because I want to learn how to map my swim. It's got that feature, so I want to learn how to actually do that and get that area figured out, because that's where I'm going to kick off my spring campaign this year. We did so well there, not just fishing in that particular spot, but just downriver near the road. How we talked about we would go fish those areas in the evening right after work, and then go into the marsh when we had our mornings or our day sessions. I want to map all that out so that I'm ready to go for the spring season. I was going to go there today, and I was like, already I'm going to take the sonar, I'm going to take my my bait caster rod with some spinners, maybe I can get into some pike, and just see how everything's working around there, because I have caught some good pike in there in the past. And I drove home from work last night, and I deliberately went by that stretch of creek, and it was frozen. So there won't be any of that happening until that thaws out. So hopefully it won't be too long, but as soon as there is some open water there, I'm going to get the sonar in there real quick and start mapping that swim out. I'm also going to go up and down river and see if there's any other areas like deeper bowls or channels that maybe I don't know about, that might put the odds in my favor about getting some more fish in the spring than maybe I would have if I just stayed in the one area. Now with that said, I wanted to cast some lures around this morning. I have now, I think, had 3 or 4 sessions over the last 3 months that have ended in complete and total failure. I've done, I guess it's been 4, because I've now done 3 sessions casting around for pike in 4 different locations, and I haven't so much as had a bump or even seen a perch following my lures. So I don't know what's going on there, but I haven't been able to get a pike on a lure at all. You know, as I was getting into the end of December there, I was even hoping in some of the spots that I might get a late season bass. Didn't happen. Dave and I also did a trout session back in December for the birthday session, and we saw fish, and we knew we were in the right area, but out of everybody in the whirlpool, we saw 1 fish come out all day, and it wasn't to us. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous rainbow that came out to somebody we ended up speaking to at the end of the session when we were back up in the parking lot. He was leaving at the same time, showed us some pictures. It was a really gorgeous fish. But yeah, just an overall tough day with bad river conditions for us. And the river conditions haven't really improved much any time that we've had to get out. So hopefully we'll be able to get some trout fishing in. Hopefully we will be able to get a trout fishing video done. I know a lot of you guys that tune in here are carp guys, but I do have a pretty big trout following that kind of, they don't really interact in the chat much, but man, I just see these spikes in the trout videos come up once we get into fall and through the winter. I want to make sure I'm putting out some content for everybody, and that I'm also getting my trout fishing fix in, because I absolutely love catching trout, and I really want to get another big laker. Wouldn't mind getting into some acrobatic rainbows soon. So yeah, as soon as Dave gets out of the house and I can get the schedule lined up to not necessarily be out there on a weekend, so we can actually have a spot that we want and not have to fight through shoulder to shoulder with other anglers, we're going to try and get down there for some trout again. But yeah, lure fishing for me just the last few months, I guess since the beginning of November, has just sucked. Tried so hard to, I think I said I went to 4 different spots over a bunch of different sessions and just keep failing at it. I know I'm doing everything right because I used to be good at it, so I don't know what I'm missing this time. Maybe there's just no more fish in the winter time. Maybe they all went to sleep. I don't know. But I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna get out for pike again at some point soon and try and find some. Let's see here. Just getting caught up on my list of items from my discussion. Oh yeah, another video. Oh, you want to drift the live target minnows? Yes, I want to see how those do, because they look amazing, not only in the package, but they looked incredible in the water. We get some clear water, I want to see what happens with those. But another video that's coming soon. Guys, tune in the chat. Let me know your thoughts on this. This won't be the first thing I'm asking your opinion on either. A few years ago, I think about 3 years ago, Goldie and I went out specifically to do a video of just carp runs, but not one that we're combining everything together, like you see mostly on YouTube. Goldie and I actually did a session where we just set the camera up on the rods, and it was how many runs could we get in a 7-hour session. We ended up getting 77 runs at that particular spot, the same spot that we did the center pin fishing at, just a different swim. That video has now gotten several thousand views, and it's just runs. That's all it is. I have all of my files categorized for the 2020 season. We did get quite a few carp runs on camera. Would you guys like to see a carp runs video kind of thrown in the mix? Not necessarily one that takes up the normal schedule, but one that I can just kind of put together and put out on an odd week that doesn't necessarily have a video. I was thinking about taking the time to actually put together a compilation of all the runs that I had in 2020 on camera, just because people like them. If you guys want to see them, I will put it together. I haven't started that one yet, but in the editing that I've done of the last 4 or 5 videos, I've noticed that we have a lot of runs on camera. Some of them are just savage. So if you want them, I'll put them together. Noir Lambert, love me some runs. All right, 1 vote is good enough for me. I will put it together. I'll work on that, and then probably next week, and I'll just slip that in on a week that doesn't have a video, just to keep the content going out there for you guys. Dave Penderbury, include the barrel roll. That wasn't in the 2021 season though. That was in 2019. That file might be on a different hard drive. I will look into it. I'll see what I can find from 2019, because I know I had a lot of runs on camera as well that season. So let me do the 2020 runs, and we'll see how big the video is, and if there's room, I'll put some more in. Lost track of time. Screaming Carp Runs, you made it safely to Kenya. Thanks for tuning in. Glad to see you there. Hope you're being safe where you are. Obviously traveling is already tricky enough, but being in another country so far away, please be safe while you're there. But yes, carp runs will happen. all because Noir Lambert said he loves them. So just for you, man, I'm going to put that together. Okay. I think I'm caught up on the chat there. So I have two other topics that I had on my list. One of which, I think I touched on this in December, that I would bring this up for this particular live stream. Just curious. I think we went over this also in January of last year as a, not so much what's your resolutions for the new year, but what are your fishing goals? Now, obviously, we don't know to the extent that everybody can get out. Some people are having lockdown issues, quarantine issues. So realistically, are there things that maybe you didn't get to achieve in 2020 that you want to achieve this year? Looking back, I was just talking with Dave last night about the list that I had put together in 2020 in January of what I wanted to accomplish fishing wise. One of them was I wanted to be absolutely more mobile. With the equipment that I've acquired through the season and the way I fished through the latter half of the season, I definitely became more mobile as an angler. I was able to go to different spots. The last few sessions while I was lure fishing, I was incredibly mobile, and that's even carrying the camera gear and stuff around. So I definitely hit that mark. I really wanted to get the fly rod carp. It took me a few months to kind of put together the time to make that session happen. Did it in a quick morning. Accomplished that. I would like to do more of that, but I'm not in a hurry to jump back into that right away. Kappa, your goal is to actually get some time on the bank without health getting in the way again. You know what? I hope you get to do that. Absolutely hope you get the chance to get out there and enjoy your passion. Hopefully health will definitely improve and make that easier for you. Another one that I had mentioned, now Goldie was here for that discussion when we first came up with it. If you guys remember, Goldie had found that massive koi in a particular location. Haven't caught it, haven't seen it since that point, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't actually fish that location at all last year, so I couldn't really put any effort into that target. As far as we know, the fish is still there. As far as I'm concerned, that fish should just be named Goldie's fish, because to my knowledge, he's the first one that I know of who has spotted it. So just calling it Goldie's fish, and I'm going to actually make an effort to try and get that fish this season. I do actually have a game plan. It's kind of a secret game plan. I haven't even talked to Dave Pendlebury about it yet. But I actually have a list of notes in my notebook of what I'm going to try and specifically where I'm going to fish to try and get that fish. I touched on it briefly with him, but I didn't even have a proper discussion. So this is something that I'm just kind of doing myself. Hopefully we can get Goldie out again this season and we can try and get him out for it. I know it's a fish that he wants to catch, but I wouldn't mind catching it myself. So I am going to try and make the effort to get that fish this season. There's a lot of other mirrors in that spot too. A lot of mirrors. And I wouldn't mind getting in a few more of those, because I've only had the one, which has now been caught by a number of other people. Adam from Stay Positive and Dave Newman from Fat Boys. They've both caught the same fully scaled mirror that I had a few years back. Goldie had that amazing 14-pound mirror in that location, and our friend Dave Fleming has had, I think, 5 other different mirrors that we haven't seen yet. I saw the pictures a few weeks ago, and they were just incredible fish. Hashtag not a mirror. Yeah, that's going to happen a lot in the next video. But yeah, that location has a lot of surprises. So I'd like to find some more of those mirrors, and I definitely want that koi, because I'll be honest with you, it's huge. It's huge. It's a big, big fish. That might have just been the spot that I saw it in when Goldie found it, that it looked that big. You know, maybe it's only a 20-pounder, but still, it looks a lot bigger to me, and I really want to get it. So that's definitely a goal that I have on target. Let's see, Noir Lambert, I'm still trying to dead bait a pike. I hear you. Been trying to do that as well. Goldie and I filmed some a few years back, had one on, and I was too slow in response to setting the hook and lost it, and that video hit the cutting room floor. So that is one that I would like to accomplish. I don't know when I'm going to try and do that again. I have an idea of a different bait that I want to use, so see what I can swing. But right now, I haven't even been able to find any pike while I'm out casting lures. So until I can actually find some and know that I'm in the right spot, I'm going to leave the dead bait thing for a bit. Kappa, the triple G fish. What is the triple G fish? Hopefully you can elaborate on that, because I'm not sure what that means. Maybe I'm just simple and I don't get it. Goldie's Golden Goal. You know what? If I can get that fish, that'll be the name of the video. I love it. That's wicked. But that would be, man, that was such an amazing looking fish, and I would love to get that on. Even to get it on and lose it, just to say that I hooked that fish, that would be an achievement all in itself, for the size of that water, the number of fish that are in there. Yeah, just to be able to hook it and have some video evidence that I had that fish, maybe get it close to the net and lose it, I would be half okay with that. Like, I almost wouldn't be upset with losing it, because I know that I at least got it to bite. But obviously the goal is to get it into the net. So I'm going to try my best, but I'm not setting my expectations so high that I have to just get that landed. I'm going to be okay with just getting it on and having evidence that I had that fish on. That's how much of a unicorn this one is, and that I really want to see it again. What about anybody else? You got any interesting angling goals? Sorry, I've got a sliver or something stuck into my knee. It's driving me nuts. Yeah, any other goals? I know that Dave would love to get in a mirror, because our last session, well, not the last session, but part 2 of the center pin video, hashtag not a mirror, was quite the topic of discussion, because we were really trying to get a mirror. And you'll have to watch the video to see what happened at the end. We tried, and yeah, you'll have to see what happens. So while I'm waiting to see if any of you guys have any other topics to bring up as far as what your goals are, I'm keeping it simple. You know, I've already been able to accomplish some from last year. For this year, I want to put a conscious effort into targeting that koi. Dave and I actually had a lengthy conversation where we are going to be working on and planning out more of the how to catch carp in rivers video that we're going to be doing over the course of this year, hopefully for release next winter. Probably December, January, we'll have that come out. I'm going to work on it all year, and that was as per the request of one of our followers there. So that video is going to be getting worked on. So it's not so much of a goal, but just something that we made a promise to do and we really want to do. So we are working on that. Yeah, not a huge list of goals for me for this season. Just really, I want to get those 2 main things done. Beyond that, I just want to catch consistently. I just want to continue to catch consistently. Screaming carp runs. A mirror was one of my goals for 2020. That didn't happen. I didn't get one in 2020 either. I had one that I think was kind of close, but Dave and I couldn't really say for sure. It almost looked like a fully scaled, but we weren't really sure. Noir Lambert, another goal is another fantail carp or koi hybrid, but not holding my breath. Wouldn't that be something? See a lot of those come up in the States. A lot of American anglers holding up fantails and stuff like that. Don't see many of those at all here in Canada. Dave Pendlebury, your personal goal would be more better quality vids, hopefully, if your computer doesn't ignite. Don't ignite it. I'm sure your vid quality is going to improve. Just got to get out and actually get making them, don't we? I would love for the videos here to improve as well, but at the same time, I'm just so focused on just trying to catch fish and have fun while I'm out there. Video quality might improve, it might stay the same. As long as I'm having fun, that's all that really matters to me. Dave Newman, your goal is to keep having fun fishing with the boys. Your boys crew is growing and growing and growing. I don't see any issue with you continuing having fun, because that's pretty much all you guys do. Even when you're not catching, you are having a crap ton of fun. Yeah, that whole muddler thing, we won't even get into that discussion. I hate that word. Stupid word. It's a great fly, but stupid word. There's a few in Toronto in reference to the fantails. Oh, that'd be cool to see them, but yeah, I don't know of anybody that caught them. 2021 goals are some good multiple night sessions with other anglers and a couple more videos to put out there. I'll be honest with you, I'd like to get some more night sessions in this year myself. I'm already planning on one particular session in a few months from now. I'm hoping that Kevin and Dave and we can get together for an overnighter in the marsh for the spring. Spoke to Kevin about it. I think I briefly touched on it with Dave, but I really want to do an overnighter in the marsh this year. I was a little bit hesitant to do it last year because it is an area that has known groups of coyotes. One or two I'm not worried about, but a whole group of them, I am. And while Kevin and I were searching around looking for other spots to kind of open up slight swims in the marsh, we did find a deer carcass that had been annihilated. Now, there's any numbers of animals that could have been working on that carcass, but my bet is that it was probably taken down by coyotes. So until we know that we can safely have a night session there, or at least by having multiple of us there, have the pepper spray out there and keep the coyotes at bay, I'd like to make that happen. Dave Pendlebury, we can inspect each other for ticks. You're taking that to a weird level there by putting the wording together the way you did. But yes, we will have to watch for ticks. I don't know how, but I didn't manage to have to deal with any ticks at all last year. Kevin was a magnet for them. In the marsh, he did have a few ticks get on him. I managed to somehow avoid it, wearing the waders and my my UCC, my Urban Carp Collective, I think the UWP jacket, the raincoat that I use. Didn't have any ticks on that. Maybe it's the type of fabric that they just kind of slid off or they couldn't get a grip, but I did not have any tick issues last year. So hopefully we won't have to worry about that this spring. Okay, I see another name popping in and saying hi. I'm sorry, given the type of writing, I can't actually read what your name is, but hello and thanks for tuning in. Yes, Dave, see, I'm not the only one that thinks you were creepy with that comment. But yeah, overnighters, definitely want to get more of those in. We only had a few of them this year, but man, they were great. The 3-man challenge that we had with improved carp angling, Team Savage versus the Beardy Boys? Oh my God, that was such a great session, and to do that as an overnighter was awesome. Ken Taylor, your 2021 goal is a 40 plus common, same as every year. I've done it once. I don't know that I'll ever get to do it again, but I'm going to keep trying. So yes, I agree. We should all achieve our PBs at some point soon, and hopefully we all get them over 40 plus. Best of luck to you. Keep that goal. I don't care if you have to do that for the next 20 years. Just keep that goal. Don't let it go until it happens. It's a unique feeling getting a fish that size, that's for sure. I would love to see Dave Pendlebury get a 40 plus. I don't think I've seen him land one in person up to 30. I'm sure I've seen him holding them, but not in person, and I would love to see him holding a 40, because That's a guy that never weighs his fish, so to see something that big in his hands would be impressive. Oh, I just realized, yeah, you guys see my new mug? Absolute Top Guy John, give thanks for his awesomeness. Got this from my friend Jamie. She got this for me for Christmas. This is probably going to be my new desk mug. Just putting it out there. I love it. I made a crappy coffee today, though. First cup was all right, but this one, I don't know. That one didn't turn out the same way. So I think if you guys, you might have seen the thumbnail for this video. It looks like we're almost an hour in, but I still got a few things to go on, so I'm just going to keep going. In the thumbnail, I'm holding that giant can of sweet corn. Buddy from work brought this in to me because I just asked him if he knew of any stores that carried them, and he wasn't sure. So he went looking around and found it in a restaurant supply store. It is 2.84 liters of sweet corn. I hate opening multiple cans of sweet corn to put in my spod mix or my free offering mix when I'm doing a big session, especially overnighter. I hate having to take a whole bunch of cans with me. So this is going to be really convenient. But when he brought it in to me, I was just blown away at how big this actually is. 100 fluid ounces of corn. So one thing's for sure, once it's opened, it's going to have to get used in one session. So this is going to get used in part of my spring campaign at the marsh. And I think I'm going to have to go pick up a few more. But this is going to be a bit of an issue with trying to stay mobile, especially if I need to carry a few of these for maybe a longer session. But can you imagine one of these in the backpack? I might have to specifically take this out and put it in a bag, maybe even freeze some of it, just to be able to stay mobile with it, because this is damn heavy. 2 kilo bags from No Frills is my favorite now. Cheap and easy to pack along. I'm assuming those are frozen bags. I've definitely used the frozen corn in those bags myself, and it's handy in the hot summer months because as it thaws, it kind of adds a little bit moisture to your mix, and I don't know, I just find that it infuses the flavors a little bit better. So yeah, definitely in the hot summer month, I use the frozen stuff, but spring and fall, definitely use the canned stuff. And now I've got a monstrous can. Already showed you the Witchwood Extricator 10-footers. Oh, my new babies. I can't wait to actually put a fish on the bank with these. I was thinking that I might actually take this out tomorrow and try it by putting the my Witchwood Riot 65S on here, just for the sake of actually trying to get a fish with this tomorrow. But I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to wait till I get the Extricator reels, and then I will take it out to work it in. But definitely looking forward to fishing the marsh and the res with those rods. That's going to be so exciting to actually get a fish on that setup. Little tool here. Don't know how well you can see this, but if you look at it carefully, you can see that it's kind of like a little camera mount. Well, not kind of. It actually is a camera mount. Hopefully, I'm not moving it around too much. It's got a little clamp here. This I've been clamping onto the pod, onto the branches around me, onto the tripod stand, the legs. It's so incredibly adjustable. It's ridiculous. This little unit is made by a company called Small Rig. I got this on Amazon. For any of you guys out there that film your sessions, or even film parts of your sessions, or even just for the sake of getting the runs on camera, or want to be able to take photos with a digital camera, or even like a holder for a cell phone. I've had one of these now. I've been using it all season. So when you look at the runs that we get on video in the center pin videos, the action camera was actually mounted on this. So pod cam was always just this little adapter that I would put into the bank stick or the pod. it wasn't adjustable enough. It made it very difficult. So I picked this up back in the spring, and I've been using one of these, and it just made it so much better to be able to get the angles that I want, be able to pretty much put a camera anywhere. If you go back a few years ago to some of the secret spot videos that we did in the bush there, we actually had cameras that we were just kind of like setting into the crooks of tree branches. This I could actually just clamp right onto the branch to get those kind of higher or more unique angles. So after using one all season and absolutely loving it, I picked up another one. These are not made cheaply. When I saw it online, I thought, oh, well, low price point, about 15 or 16 bucks. And it just looked like plastic to me. This is all actually made of aluminum and zinc. This is tough. It's heavy, it's tough, but yeah, you've got a nice machined aluminum grip here for where it clamps onto things. I clamp, I guess. The handle here on the adjustment knob is plastic, but the actual pieces that are operating around for its mobility, this unit, near as I can tell, is actually, it's either made of machined aluminum as well, or it's made of zinc. And it's really tough, really dense, really heavy. I can't recommend this enough. This has gotten a lot of really great shots for me in 2020 when we were filming, and it's incredibly versatile. So not only could I put the action camera on it, but the primary camera. I was actually a couple times where I forgot the tripod. Primary camera went on this, and I would just clip it onto a branch or a post or something that was nearby. You can't even tell. Some of the videos were actually done with this. On top of that, I did actually get a second camcorder to match the one that I've been using, my Canon Vixia. So now, not only will I have one on the tripod like usual, but I can put the same camera with all the same settings on one of these clipped nearby for another angle. And that also helps with the mobility aspect. If I'm going to be fishing somewhere in the bush, like if I ever get into the secret spot again, or we find another spot where we can carve open a swim, I won't need the tripod. I can just take this and mount my cameras on these. It's going to cut down on the gear I have to take in and still be able to achieve the same thing. So for those of you who are out there, not just fishing, really, to be honest with you, if you're filming anything, these little small rig, yeah, that's the brand. I don't know if that shows up or if there's a glare there, but small rig. Go on Amazon, look them up. They've got a lot of different products. Not sponsored in any way by them, just something that, as always, I use. I like it. I'm letting you guys know, and I'm sharing the information with you. Try these out. So that brings me so far to all but one topic on my list of chats for our January live stream. We're just over an hour in. I see the chat's frozen up again, so hopefully I still got your attention. Let me know, you guys, if you're still there, because I can see that it says there's a whole bunch of you watching. That number's been going up and down pretty steady. So again, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And for those of you guys who have been here since we started, thanks for sticking around. I'm really enjoying these actually starting to run a little bit longer than the traditional hour that we've always done. Just need the chat to keep going. That way I know what you guys are thinking and what's going on. It's late there, but you're still watching. Yeah, I bet with the time zone change, that's got to be crazy. How well have you adjusted to that time zone change with everything going on that you're used to here and being so different over there? Wow, Dave, you seem to know a lot of people that are just having some awful luck lately. That's awful. Hopefully everybody got out safe and everybody's okay. Wow, that's bad. Okay, I'm gonna try and change the topic. All good. Okay, thank God. Everybody's safe. Wonderful. Now, Dave, you can chime in with this topic if you want, but I would really like everybody else's feedback on this. So, oh, there's an interesting question. Before I get to that topic, Cap is asking, are bait boats used in Canada at all? Lee, I'm going to get to your question in just a second. Kappa, I know of one person here that actually does use a bait boat. I will be honest with you, I'm not sure why. We're fishing for wild fish in wild waters. We don't really need to be stealthy in most cases. And those few cases, that I think we do need to be stealthy. Oh my goodness, too much coffee. In those cases where we do need to be stealthy, it's usually because those fish are in close. You're usually fishing right under your rod tip. There is a guy, I think he's in the Hamilton area. Demir knows him better than I do. I think I've only met him once or twice. But he does have a bait boat. He does use it. And I'm assuming it's just for putting it out either longer range than he can cast or close to structure so he doesn't cast into a tree or something like that. But beyond him, I don't know of anybody else that uses bait boats here. Certainly with a lot of like the rivers that I fish with heavy current, we're not going to be wanting to put a bait boat out there because the battery dies or has any issues, we're never going to see it again. And that's a big expense lost. Screaming carp runs. It's been a bit rough adapting to the time zones there, but lots of sleeping. Yeah, well, like I said, stay safe. Hopefully everything goes well with you with what you're doing over there. I did see your post, and yeah, again, please be safe over there. Lee, how is the rucksack working out? Okay. Sorry, Kappa added to his question there. So Lee, I'm going to get to that in a second. As a means of heavy baiting. Honestly, any of us that have to fish out in any kind of distance for heavy baiting, it's all about the spawns. Lots and lots of spawns. Because we're fishing for, like I said, wild fish, we can get on top of them with spawns and it doesn't really spook them. Or as the Screaming Carp runs is putting it out, a canoe, boats. Kevin has a nice little fiberglass boat that he takes out. We just dump bait over the side in a lot of these spots. We really don't need to be stealthy for baiting with a bait boat. Any kind of distance, spawns, or an actual boat for close range, just big baiting spoons on a 6-foot pole, launch it out there. But yeah, we really don't need, I will probably never ever have a need for a bait boat myself, and I really don't know of anybody else that I fish with that would want one or use one. Kevin, we should be out today. Yeah, we should be, but the creek was frozen, so not much point. But I'm going tomorrow. So Kevin, please, message me later on. Let's make a plan. You can get out tomorrow if you're allowed out. I know the wife likes to keep you around because, you know, she enjoys your company. Okay, so Lee, your question regarding the rucksack. So if you guys didn't see the December live stream, the Corda rucksack that I got, hang on, here you go. I'm coming. Oh. Okay. So for those of you that did see me get this, all the pockets are open and crazy. The Corda rucksack that I got, the compact rucksack, the new part of their new luggage range. I love this thing. This is awesome. There are a few features on it that I do wish were here that are not. But overall, this is an amazing product. And I'll go over those features in a minute. As you can see, I got it loaded right to the nuts here. A light power pack, marker float, the deeper sonar. I forgot where I put that, so it's a good thing I didn't lose it. Carp sack right off the top, and some oats from the last session where we were making pack bait. I still have my Tracker PVA bag, my Corda EVA pack that has my tackle safe and end tackle in it. 2 giant bottles of water in here. There's just tons and tons of room in here for all this stuff, and that's just the main compartment. I had my gloves in there. I loaded this right up. It was heavy. carrying this into the carp spot or using it for lure fishing, I loaded it right up and it was still super comfortable. Just odds and ends in all these little pockets, some tiger nuts, some goo, some electrical tape, a lighter. Just, you know, I really utilized all the pockets to make sure I was covering everything. You know, pop-ups and bait sprays on the other side. Just so you guys know, the Hinders Baits Blackjack pop-ups. I told you how excited I was to use these. One session, put one of these out there. That's what I got my first carp of 2021 on. Boom. So excited to have gotten that fish on that bait. Because I've been wanting to use them for so long. But yeah, didn't even have to change baits. Did one session with one hook bait and caught a fish. I think I got in here slingshot. I think there's a spom in there. A bunch of other stuff in here. Had my unhooking mat. I was carrying it because I had the big mat with me, but I can put my small one rolled up in here. For that particular session, I had the tripod go through here. So the tripod was fit in there. I had the camera gear all mounted in here. This is an amazing rucksack. So I can't say enough positive things about it. However, I will say that there are a couple features missing from this that I wish were here. Some elastic loops in this area in the front, kind of between the main compartments and the pockets. I would like to see some elastic loops here and here for sliding in bank sticks. Not on the back, definitely on the front. I just want to be able to carry some bank sticks with alarms or my tripod, kind of like I did with my previous backpack, the Plano one that I was using that wasn't really a carp backpack, but it had those loops on the sides that I could put my little Signet tripod or bank sticks in, and I would always have them ready, or I can just set this down and have it ready to go. I think that's a feature that was definitely missed on this product, and maybe the next generation of it should have it. I'm not knocking this in any way. I really do love this product, and I've really enjoyed a lot of Corda stuff. That's why it's in my arsenal. I think I just dropped the lead from my marker float. But yeah, having some elastic loops here for bank sticks is definitely something that is needed on this product. So I may end up adding them on myself because I can do that, just to personalize this a bit with the way I want to use it. But as far as that goes, it's the only real big thing that it's missing. The other thing that I would have liked to see, now if you look at the bottom here, it's got a nice bottom. If you're sitting it in the mud, easy to clean, good firm. You can see it was sitting in the mud. That's a nice feature, but to be honest with you, on the side pockets there, it would be nice to have loops like this on the top, on the bottom as well. So for somebody like me, I could have my tripod on the top and an unhooking mat on the bottom. The reason I would want to do that on the bottom is because if I've just had a killer session, like a smash fest like Dave and I had with the center pin session, and my carp mat is just soaked to the bone with carp slime and it's just wet and gross, I do not want to put that on top of my bag. So going home, I'm going to end up carrying that off to the side so that I'm not leaking carp slime all over the top of this bag. And hopefully, you know, if I don't close the zippers all the way, I don't want any of that goop and slime dripping in on my gear. So I love the feature of having this up here for when I'm getting into a spot, having a nice dry mat up here, or like I said, my tripod. I think it's missing that on the bottom for the way out. I'd rather have a wet, slimy carp ass on the way out because the stuff was leaking all over the back of me than have it dripping down on my gear. I can change my pants easier than I can clean and wipe down all of my stuff. So other than those two things, the loops on the front for bank sticks and loops on the bottom for a wet unhooking mat, really, it's an amazing product. Lee, I hope that answers your question. I really can't recommend that enough. Just, I think I'm going to add those features on myself personally. I have this stuff from an old backpack that's all fallen apart. I can take those features off and stitch them on myself. So I think I'm going to be doing that for the spring. But so far, its first outing, absolutely wonderful. Another thing is it stayed upright. I didn't have to lean it against anything. It stayed upright with the way it was loaded, and I took a ton of stuff. I think actually, yeah, I think I have my brew kit in there. Just a condensed version of my brew kit with my kettle and stuff like that was in there as well. So yeah, it holds a lot of gear. Nick Evans, Johnny, do you get Nash fishing gear where you are? Nick UK, they do the rucksacks with loops at the bottom and bank stick holders at the side. Honestly, trying to find Nash gear here in Canada can be difficult. We only have limited sites over here. We have Canadian Carp Club, we have Carp Kit, which those two are the ones that I primarily use. We have Big Carp Tackle down in the States that we can get stuff from. And then everything else we have to order direct from the UK. That poses a bit of an issue. I'm not going to knock Nash gear at all, because there are some Nash products that I do use when I can get my hands on them, like the Hook-Link material. But Nash gear is expensive, so I don't want to get into the topic of whether or not it's worth the money based on the quality, because everybody has their personal opinions on that. But Nash gear is pricier than a lot of other gear that I get, and I'm rough on equipment. So if I'm going to spend more money on something, I need to know that it's going to put up with the punishment that I'm going to put it through, because I really don't take care of my gear very well. I'm out there to catch fish, not really to wipe down my gear and make sure everything is staying perfect. Certain features, like I just mentioned, I'd rather not have slime all over it, so when I bring it back in the house, it stinks. I'd like to have that on the bottom. The other problem with it being expensive, you have to look at the exchange rate. Basically, if I want to buy something from the UK, I'm paying almost double. So an item that's 50 pounds over in England, I'm probably going to be spending $90 to $100 Canadian to get. That doesn't even include shipping or in some cases duty fees, import fees. So it's a kind of a balance that we have to watch with, mainly budgeting. I could get this at a decent price from somebody over here that was carrying it, like Carp Kit or Big Carp Tackle, where a lot of those duties have already been taken care of. And yeah, like Screaming Carp runs there, it can take a lot longer, but also the imports and taxes kind of crush us. So yeah, the import and duties are taken care of if one of our sites over here happen to be carrying the items, but you're still looking at a much higher price point for Nash gear than you are for some of the others. So, I looked at a lot of rucksacks. I'll be honest with you, I only looked at, I think it was the Nash Scope one that I was looking at. I looked at the Thinking Angler's rucksack. I did look at a Daiwa one that ended up selling out before I could get it because Kevin bought it. I really wanted that one. And then I looked at this one when it came out. This one ticked more of the boxes than the other ones, but at the time I wasn't really thinking of those bank stick loops or the loops on the bottom. That was something that I just found that in the first session I took this out in, I realized that I would have liked to have those features on there, simply because I wanted to be able to set my bank stick up against it, and I wanted to not have to carry a wet mat out on top of the bag. So those kind of ideas just came into play based on the session that I took this out in. So yeah, there's a lot of factors into why I wouldn't have gone with the Nash one. One, price point. Two, availability, because sometimes they're here, sometimes they're not. It's hit or miss. And three, overall, just didn't think about those particular two features at the time. So hopefully that answers your question, Nick. But yeah, I know they do make good products. It's just a lot harder for us to get sometimes. Unfortunately, us here in Canada aren't as in the loop with access to everything that people in the UK have. Um, Actually, I'll touch on this briefly. Dave and I were discussing this last night for somebody we were talking to last week or the week before, who's actually from the UK. And we found it interesting that the way we're looking at carp fishing over in the UK and in Europe, it seems that a lot of anglers over on that side of the pond are looking at us the same way. So where we're looking over there and being like, you guys have all the resources, you have the tackle, the shops, the shows, the magazines, the TV shows, the videos, you have so much of this angling content and stuff out there for anglers in relation to carp, barbel, even, a lot of other types of fishing as well, but specifically carp. We're sitting back here jealous, like, you guys have it made. You have like the heaven of all of this stuff that we're looking for over here. But on the flip side, you guys are over there with all of that, looking at how we have so much water, wild fish to target, places that you can go without having to pay a day ticket. You can just rock up to a waterway and fish it for the day, and all you need is a fishing license. You buy your fishing license at the beginning of the year, you're good for the rest of the year. As long as you follow the rules for that water body, which, vary based on region, because obviously we do have rules. But you can just rock up to a wild spot, put some bait in, and have a great session. You don't have to wait in line to get into a spot or walk around a lake waiting for somebody to leave so you can get the spot you want. We just have so much water. A lot of times, it does happen where I go to a spot that I have been planning on fishing, or that I've been baiting up for a week, and somebody else is there on the day that I get there. But overall, I always have another place I can go. And sometimes it's just down the bank. I don't have to worry about encroaching on somebody else's water. So it was neat to kind of hear in that discussion how we're looking over there in one way, they're looking over here in another way. But if you could just put the two together, it would be incredible. Yeah, tight pegs and no access. We don't have to worry about that here. It's great. Lee, thanks. Just got the Nash 60 liter for Christmas, and it has the same things missing. Yeah, you know what? It's hard to say. Maybe it's because a lot of people over in the UK and in Europe have barrows or other means of getting their gear around, so they have other things to put that stuff in. But being a mobile angler here, where a lot of times I have a long walk to get into some of my spots through the bush, I really want to strip out my gear. I don't want to carry so much where I can't take a barrow. You guys have all seen my barrows, that big steel thing that I built. It's just not practical for a lot of the swims, especially some of the new ones that I'm finding that I'm going to be working on this spring. Very narrow path through the bush that I found this one swim in. I don't think I could get a barrow through there even if I trimmed the bush up a bit more. I really have to strip the gear down and streamline it where I'm kind of walking hunched to get through this long path about 120, 130 yards from the last open spot into where it opens up into this swim. I'm kind of going through like a tunnel, like basically a game path where there's been, I don't know, probably coyotes and deer going through here. I really have to crouch down to get through it. But man, it opens up into what absolutely looks like carp heaven to me. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that. And yeah, I'm just thinking if I can add those features to this rucksack in particular, I'll be able to not take as much gear, but still be able to accomplish my objective once I get into that spot. So hopefully I answered those questions for you guys, but I'm going to get into this last topic that I had set up. We've been going for 83 minutes. And this one, I definitely want some interaction from you guys on. I want your opinions. I want your thoughts on this, because really without your thoughts and opinions or requests, let's say, I don't know if this idea will work. It's something that I've wanted to do for quite a while. I used to be part of a few of them, actually, that we worked on in relation to geek stuff. Like I said, as you can see, I'm a bit of a geek with comic books, superheroes, Star Wars, stuff like that. That's kind of like my world outside of fishing. And what I'm talking about is podcasts. We see a lot of them out there now. Not just the big guys like Corda and Nash doing them. PB Products has one. But you got a lot of just average anglers out there doing some. And I was looking at some on Spotify this morning. The big theme that I see with a lot of the podcasts coming from the UK and Europe are interviewing known or famous anglers. It's not the sort of thing I necessarily want to do. I don't want to be ringing up Kevin Nash and saying, hey, you want to be part of my podcast? I just don't think that that's practical, and it's not the sort of thing I want to do because everybody else is doing it. I love being able to sit down and not just listen to, but watch the videos on YouTube of Corda talking to somebody like Ian McMillan, or Nash having Rob Hughes on there. The Corda podcast that I saw with Nick Hellier, that's probably by far my favorite one so far that I've either watched or listened to. But I really would like to know what you guys think of the idea of us putting together the Angler Files podcast. I've been working on this idea for several months now, probably about 5 or 6 months now. I keep bringing it up to Dave that, I want to do this, but I had a lot of other things that I wanted to do, and this kind of took a sideline. But we've been talking about this a lot more lately, and I'm sure here in Canada there's going to be some podcasts popping up sooner or later. But what do you guys want out of a podcast? Add it in the chat. Put it in the comment section if you're watching this after the live stream's over. I really do want to know your opinions on what you want out of a podcast, so that that'll help me make a decision of not only if we're going to go ahead with it, because I think we're going to try it and see how it goes, but how we're going to shape it. I don't want to be interviewing anglers on everyone. I want to be able to just do a podcast where we're just having a discussion. Maybe we pick a topic and we have a 2-hour discussion about it, where we don't have to beep out or swearing. We don't have to censor ourselves. We can just have the discussion and open it up. Just something where we can go into more detail with a free conversation than maybe I can do in a short video. I'd rather keep the videos to fishing specifically, and the podcast be more covering of the tactics, the discussions, the memories, the looking back at previous sessions or previous captures or fishing experiences, things like that. Please, in the chat, in the comment section, send your ideas over. Go on our other social media forums like Facebook, the Facebook page. Go over to the Angler Files on Instagram. Drop me a message. Let me know that you're specifically talking about the podcast. Throw your ideas our way, and I'd like to make a list of what our options are of how we can put it together, and if you guys even want to see them. Kappa, you'll listen to anything. Great to hear. But yeah, if you have any specifics, like, do you want to hear a podcast about rig talks? Do you want to hear it about tactics? Something more in depth as a conversation that won't necessarily be in a video. I'm just interested in how the sport grows in other countries. That's definitely a topic that we want to touch on. And I've been talking with Dave a lot about this, about how we're going to put it together. Obviously, we will have guests at different points, other anglers in our area, over here in Canada. We've got a lot of people that love to talk, so it should be easy to have conversations with some of them. But yeah, like ideas like that, how the sport's growing in other countries, those are the sort of things I'd like feedback on, because I want to make sure that I'm doing these podcasts to kind of suit what the audience is after. The videos, I don't want to be selfish, but the videos I pretty much do for me, right? The videos are just what I'm doing to help keep my focus on my passion and, keep me out of any kind of depression, which is what I was sinking into before I started doing these videos. So the videos are kind of me, but the podcast is something that I actually want to do for you guys, for the audience that has supported the Angler Files for so long. And even today, 90 minutes in, you guys are still there, you're still interacting. I want to be able to do something that is not just me being selfish, but something out there for you guys. And I think this is the way to go for the time being with that. Screaming carp runs, even best catches or fun, weird fishing memories could be fun. Absolutely, you know, nice fun discussions like that. You know, I've done some videos on the channel where we look back, kind of like a throwback Thursday type thing. If you go over to the Urban Carp Collective, the YouTube channel for them, there is new content starting to be put together, and that channel will be growing. So if you're not subscribed to the Urban Carp Collective on YouTube, please do that. There is even a video over there that I did looking back on the session where we got to meet Matt Hayes. A nice discussion about that. Even though we've done that in our videos, that specific video on the UCC channel is a little bit more to the point of exactly how that went and what that did for me, for us really as a session and a fun interaction with one of our angling heroes. So it would be like, you know, like that sort of thing, that kind of discussion, covering that topic, but more open and not restrictive, and we can just kind of let loose. And if I want to drop an F-bomb, I don't have to beep it out. Whereas with the videos, I try to kind of rein some of that in, because we do have a lot of kids that watch the videos, and I'd like to keep this a little bit more family friendly. Kappa, the limitations of the one rod policy. That I would say is definitely going to be a topic for discussion. I would love to cover that on the podcast, but it will be also covered in the videos coming soon, because right now, as far as our fishing regulations for Ontario goes, that is being pushed to potentially change soon. Obviously, we don't have any official announcements of when, but we did get an official announcement that it's being looked into. That may be changing very soon. So you're right there, that would be a great topic. Goldie's penchant for naked fishing. Definitely better to be in a podcast for that than a video, because we don't know why he does it. But he does it a lot. And we have a lot of videos where he's stripped down to his undies to save a spawn, or, you know, make Dom laugh from Dom Fishing UK. Stuff like that would be, yeah, again, funny conversations to be able to have a guest on like Goldie and just have him let loose with his conversation. Zach H. Have a topic and maybe have a way to have people in chat call in to better ask questions or share their ideas on the subject. Yeah, that would be really neat of doing that. That would be a case where maybe we're recording a podcast at the same time as doing a live stream like this, so we can get the chat feedback going like this, and then at the end have an audio clip of the whole thing saved to put out there on, say, Spotify, iTunes, whatever different media sources where you go to get your podcasts. Yeah, that would definitely be neat. I like that idea. Maybe not for the first couple, but something that I would definitely like to look into, because you're absolutely right. Having that direct feedback and interaction is kind of why we do the live stream to begin with. That's what makes it fun, and that's why we now run way more than an hour lately. You know, we're now up over an hour and a half, and it's been really good. I'm really liking this. The more you guys interact, the more I want to stay on and do this. The trouble is sometimes I run out of time and I have to go, and I hate that, but you know, we all have responsibilities and things to do. So I will let you guys know I am going to be cutting this to an end pretty soon, but trying to hang on as long as I can. I like the feedback you guys are giving me. I'll go back through here and jot down these notes, but you guys seem to be hitting the same mark that Dave and I had talked about what we could discuss. The slow pack down. Yeah, just like in any session, right? The end is the worst, and you just kind of drag it out as long as you can. It's the one last cast, one last cast, one last cast thing. Yeah, I hate cutting these to an end. I really like interacting with you guys, and like I said, that's why I want your input onto the idea of a podcast, because that'll be something that I want to do it for you guys. The videos are for me and my personal satisfaction of knowing that I'm doing something to kind of keep my passion going and keep my mood up. The podcast is something that I want to kind of cover for you guys. One item that must be purchased. Man, that could be an amazing topic. Good carp mugs. You know, I could probably spend half an hour just talking about mugs that I put my coffee in when I'm fishing versus ones that I use when I'm at home. Yeah, everybody's going to have that one item that is different. So again, that's an amazing topic there as well. Another great topic, how to do a live stream without the clutter of your basement behind you. How to make it look more professional. That's what I'm going to be working on in the next few live streams, guys. Like I mentioned earlier, the new software that the software that's new to me that I'm getting to kind of know over the next few weeks. I'm going to try and make that stuff work. Hopefully, if I can get that working, we can have a better backdrop behind me as well. I might move some of the stuff from the bar over here. What benefits to fishing give you? Again, great topic. Everybody has a different thing, right? For me, a lot of the times I'm doing it to avoid sinking into depression, because it's something that, you know, mental health is an issue that a lot of us have to deal with, and our passions are what get us out of that. So again, yeah, that could be a hell of a discussion, because everybody has a different reason for doing it. Yeah, I love this, guys. Really, really appreciate it. And you know, when we do cut this this particular live stream to an end, the chat may not be going, but please, if you're watching this after, you didn't come in live or you came in late, throw a comment in the comment section, and I'll be able to look back and get those opinions added onto the list. But it sounds like this is something you guys would like to see or listen to. We'll play with the idea of not just doing the audio, but also filming it, much in the way that you see the Nash and the Corda ones covered, where you do actually get to see that that behavior from the people that are talking. You know, everybody has different inflections that they use in their voice, and you can pick up on that in the audio, but sometimes seeing that body language and that movement of how they're talking about what they're talking about, sometimes that adds a whole other level to that discussion. So that could be interesting, having the videos as well. Not to down on the UK makers, maybe try to talk with some bait makers in the States and Canada about their process and testing. Zach, awesome idea. Just so happens that I know a few people involved in that here in Canada, and I'll be honest with you, they are people that I would love to have as a guest on a podcast. I had a conversation with one of them 3 weeks ago, and they actually, funny enough, before I had even said anything to anybody that I wanted to do this, they flat out said right off the bat, hey, I would love to see you do a podcast. It's the reason I kind of started talking to Dave about it a bit more directly, and why we're bringing it up today. It just seems like some people really want us to do one, and I really like to bring that to you. So that would definitely be a topic that I think we could cover, because we happen to know some people that are in that field, and I think that would be a good idea. So thanks for that one, Zach. Anybody else have any ideas? I think in about 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to shut this down for this month. Again, please be ready on the 23rd of January for Center Pin Carp Fishing Part 2, the epic 1 hour and 40-something minute smash fest on the center pins that we have. That is coming up in just 2 weeks from today. The roast podcast, that could be dangerous. Man, I can be pretty vulgar, and I don't know if I want to push it to that level. Who do you know has all the gear but no idea? Again, very dangerous subject with how that one could go, because I know a lot of guys that have a lot of gear and they know what they're doing. I have a lot of guys that I know that have a lot of gear and don't. I can't necessarily be one to talk. I have a lot of gear, and sometimes I know and sometimes I don't. So yeah, that could be a fun one, but it could be a dangerous one. But yeah, Center Pin Part 2 coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks after that will be the New Year's Day session. Dave and I getting our first carp of 2021. That one will be kicking off February 6th, the week before the February live stream, which again, as I mentioned you guys, in case you weren't here early on, the live streams for the next few months will be starting at 1 p.m. on the second Saturday of the month, not at noon, just because my work schedule has me coming in later. So I will have to kick things off a little bit later than normal, but we will still be having our live streams on those days. How to move Canadian carp fish from trash fish to a sport fish. It's happening. It's already happening. That is already changing, and us just having these conversations and doing these videos is helping with that. Screaming Carp Runs, your Instagram showing your reverence for the fish as you're holding them up, especially with your family there. We are already working on that. We're already doing that. We don't need to talk about how to move it. We just need to talk about how to continue doing that. We're already doing that. You're already part of that. Which is 6-ish UK time. So yeah, 1 p.m. is going to be, around 6 p.m. in UK. Kind of dinner time sort of thing for you guys. It works out that it's good for the Canadian audience. People who are fishing in the morning are getting home around that time. People in the UK maybe coming home from work or coming home from a day on the bank, whatever time it is now. Yeah, Dave, I know, can't tell what day it is half the time, let alone what time it is. Nick Evans, love the centerpin sessions, can't wait. Man, you're gonna love part 2. The only question is, can you guys sit through an hour and 40 minutes of Dave and I laughing our asses off and catching fish constantly? I'll be honest with you, for this one, the edit was tough because we were catching we were catching so many fish, it was impossible to do B-roll. We couldn't shoot clips to add in between because every time we turned the camera off, a rod went again, and we had to just continue with that. So Jack and Coke time, great. Yeah, have a few in you before the next live stream starts. It'll be awesome. If we do the live stream, make sure his alarms don't go off. You know what? I would love to do another live stream from the bank. It's going to happen once the weather improves, but for the winter, we're going to be doing them from either right here at my desk or back over there at the bar. Depends on how I can set up this new program to make things better. Plus 7 hours. Yeah, the time zones are going to work out differently for you guys, but yeah, just an hour later than normal. I will make an effort to put out a notification early as a reminder, probably a couple of days ahead of time and the same day that it will be an hour later, just so you guys all can make sure you tune in and that you're available to watch. But I think for now, everybody, again, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for interacting. I absolutely love that the chat was full this time and that everybody kept talking. I really, really appreciate your input, not just on the podcast discussion, which I'll be honest with you, you guys have pretty much sealed the deal. We're going to do it. Dave and I will get to work on how we're going to put things together, what topics we're going to start on at first, integrating the idea of having a live chat that people can come in on down the road. We'll definitely get that going because I really like that idea as well. Please, everybody be safe. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you again for the next live in February, an hour later. I have to reach up, turn my phone around to shut everything down. So this is going to get a bit jumbly, but thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Rotate device. I did rotate the device.